The Super Saiyan 2 effect at Funimation. So, what I realized and what I started going in depth in, definitely, last year, 2022 was my year, where I proclaimed myself the LeBron James of anime. And being the LeBron James of anime, I am the only, member, only user of the anime community that is athletic, besides Jax Blade. Not only am I the only one who's athletic, I'm the only one who uses swagger. So, with that being said, I'm a pretty intermediate basketball player. And that all came with dodging a bullet. So what I did was last year, I learned two ways of how to be a Crip. There's the one where you count your Hall of Fame. A lot of people go to convalescents, go to convalescent homes, group homes, and, recognize what rank is in the real world. And so what happens is you, instead of, being a fluid gangster, being a part of a gangster operation, you learn that if you stand back, literally, you can hold on to material, and then you can compare yourself, to people in the Hall of Fame. Like, say if you wanted to compare yourself to the greatest baseball player in terms of stats. So what happened is, I benched at least 250. I had a small, slim build. So what happened was, instead of using a scheme, like, how the Godfather hides behind, a scheme or, a big monument, it's typical for a mob boss, to hide behind monument and then, make fun of a gang member statement saying that, oh, I'm already cool, I'm all here. So, what happened was, while I was trying to prepare for my role for Freddie Gibson, I had to make sure that literally my Crip was fluid and that I had a fluid build. So, just imagine Gohan doing an uppercut, literally. So my mob boss went from, gangster, to fluid, a part of her operation, but I did in order to suit a role. So, on top of dodging a bullet, I called this build, I called me being agility, being equivalent to 300 with agility, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. You know how Gohan's, dreads, look like Super Saiyan yellow bananas. It was crazy because what ended up happening is I ended up, living through my life goals over and over and over again. I, didn't trip, much about the outside. Literally, there was, this Mexican, bitch that imitated Jessica from Thizzler who put a black lighter, right next to my parking lot as soon as I did what I did at the stadium with Gohan and the ball. And it was great last year. Like, we had better movies, and what happened was we ended up, living through everybody's video vixen. Do you know what video vixen is? No wives, no girlfriends. I just want a video vixen. Literally, I got that one. Mike beat James in the first 10 seconds. And on top of that, Mike stole my gargoyles. So in the hood, I knew how to fall back on, literally, the Guilds of Hamachi and Bala Malajan. So I got validation for too many people. I got validation from UT from the studio, a poster girl posing as Angelica, great music that's bound to be put on the radio if you put it out, and a multi-dimensional series that everybody wants to be a part of. And what happened in the hood was I specifically, segregated the series for deviant artists to make sure that it was their original formula. So anything like, Jackets in the Grim tier was, the original formula that I, calculated. There's some things that literally I can't, post because I have more mature content because of my knowledge of, gangs and anime. And why anime is immature, but in the hood, literally nothing changed. Like, literally, I faced Julia in... What happened was I got twice as good where I had a versus battle where they ended up saying limited edition. So nothing, freaking changed. I thought there was going to be a lesson involved, but I came too prepared, the cops were lazy. Now, some of my content, I repeat, some of my content literally can only, and I repeat, can only be on Showtime because of their maturity, and that's the whole point of Vintage Art. So, earlier, in 2021, I got on Mirage of Non-Style when Jume is getting her shit kicked out of her by Tito. That's how far I got into this Nons game. And in the hood, it got even worse. Do you know, I knew that Kishimoto literally stated that the Neji versus Kinemaro fight was based off the build of the second form Frieza versus Piccolo fight. And Oda did the exact same thing with Frankie versus Fakuro. So what I did in the hood is all I did was expand on my MEP and let you know like this is a gang member formula, but we're not trying to be a gang. What we're trying to do is we're trying to be a multi-dimensional platform like Boy Scouts that puts on for children, which is the whole part of me, Ali, Alikaza, and DeviantArt, etc. Because the difference between animes like Dr. Stone, Ringu Slime, is those animes play off intellect, where Neji versus Kiromaru, and each and every other fight in anime before, like Gara versus Rock Lee, is intellectual. And the difference between intellect and intellectual is that intellectual is going into depth, and intellect is someone playing sports, someone being taller in a situation is pretty crazy, where a situation stands by itself. So all I did was state that Blink 182 isn't real, but it is real if you know how to make your own beat and throw a party. And that's why literally you have to be at the level of advanced blood turn crip art in order to do it. So the best part about that is I'm able to maintain but not complete the series. Like earlier I wanted to complete the keto profile video, and Morgan says he's waiting for the Madison video. So I went Super Saiyan 2 a bunch of times in Funimation. The greatest one was with Mike from Platinum, and I was stopped because keto is the original formula. Now when I fell back on things like the Guilds of Hamachi and Malajan, etc., things dragged on to a point where they, basically said that my manga didn't exist, all the way to a point where they inflicted cringe. So you know what? I just gave up. I kept on pouring recording. I kept on, doing my own thing, and that was it. I know it's better to do the ugly thing than to, try to do the fun thing all the time, because the ugly thing is how you learn, and the ugly thing is the thing that reciprocates. Literally. So, and from the ugly thing that makes you mature, is the ugly thing is what gives you excuses. So other than that, me and James was the best thing on TV. So if you ask my honest opinion, literally all I wanted to do was to fall back on replays. Like every movie with James I wanted to replay, every battle in Funimation I wanted to replay. And they're saying that in order to watch something etc., I have to do more jail time, and they compare me to people who I know did more jail time, and I'm like, why can't you understand all the pain that I had in high school? So here's the deal: the police can't make a roast, and I've been falling back on literally just sitting here sucking me up for 2 years. So we're supposed to say that you're delusional, literally this is all in your head, when literally girls are obsessed with you and you're mostly on defense, and you do leave bitches on red. And it's not fair. It's totally not fair. I thought this 2 years of understanding was by jail time. So other than that, literally, I have, if we're going to continue, literally, if I have to spoil it, the battles that are planned for season 2 are Max versus James, James versus Gom, Zero versus Malice, aka Malizia, on my channel. So if you want a hint, season 2 will be a whole lot more like the me versus Dan Vanilla video that's under the Gotenks versus the Baby Blue Eyes White Dragon video. And the links won't be clickable until a year, and I mean literally a year, like literally to November next year. Because my ID has a beard, literally, and my Instagram is a smooth fade that I gave myself, by the way. I know how to cut my own hair, I know how to make my own beat, I know how to be my own celebrity. So a producer can't, criticize me, but I understand that criticism hurts. Just imagine literally all the things about the era, like, oh, your flow is stale, literally make me feel it a lot more, literally put some emphasis on your punchlines, this and that. Literally all got outraged the day I showed my battle in front of a woman. But there's other things that I can play off of, like people are dancing to my flow in community college. But that's the same criticism. It's the same flow and it's the same beat instead of changing rhythm. But with women, they can make that shit look gay. And I figured out that we're a beat studio, so call this shit, imaginary, call this shit, one fool in the cuckoo's nest if you want. But this shit got at the level for me dodging a bullet, for me playing 5Z, all the way to a point where I'm using Adele because I recognize Adele is purple. That I would beat studio if he was Tien and I was Chaozu. And you know how much gay shit you can say about Chaozu, all because I can say the Black Star Dragon Ball. That's what Lord does to you, literally. So there's no point of B versus Studio anymore, which he was the strongest fucking battler, which is the whole point of the Animation Rap League, to enclose statements and, upgrade levels like a wrestling class in a fight, on the point to where it's UFC training. Now, inevitably, Studio would lose to a Black Star Dragon Ball line. And there's nothing, he can combat, no Kakameki schemes, not comparing him, to Mr. Mime, no none of that. Because it's the core of the series, and that's what Lore teaches you. And now they're falling back on it not being canon and it being gay. This shit got so out of hand that, if you try to get back to original criticism, the original landslide because Studio was a multi-dimensional battler versus the easiest character you could roast in Dragon Ball, got that way because you left me alone. Oxymoron. But anyway, this is Eric, and this is the Super Saiyan 2 video.